The movie begins in a small Italian town called Avashad, where a girl steps out of her house on Christmas Eve morning. She pauses briefly along the way, but continues walking. 2 months later, in February, Dr. Flores, a psychiatrist, wakes up to an urgent call. He hurries to the police station, where a cop informs him about a man involved in a car accident. Dr. Flores recognizes the man as Detective Vogel, who had investigated the mysterious disappearance of a girl last December. This case had captivated Avashad during the Christmas holidays. After greeting each other, Dr. Flores questions Vogel about the bloodstains on his shirt and how he escaped the accident unharmed. Vogel glances at the stains and starts recounting the events that led to this situation. The story flashes back to December when Vogel arrived in Avashad to investigate the disappearance of 16-year-old Anna Lou Kastner. A celebrated detective, Vogel had a flawless record of solving every case he worked on. Upon arrival, Vogel meets his subordinate, Borgi, and asks him to take him to Anna's parents. At the Kastner home, the parents explain that Anna was obedient and avoided social media due to their religious beliefs. They reveal that on December 23rd, Anna left for church in the morning but never arrived. Vogel then suggests issuing a public appeal to draw media attention to the case. Vogel arrives outside the house and starts clapping loudly. The noise draws the neighbors out of their homes to see what's happening. Vogel does this to test if people respond to unusual sounds. Later, at his office, he explains that Anna's phone was turned off 7 minutes after she left home. He believes she wouldn't abandon her family, and since CCTV footage shows no evidence of her leaving town, she must still be nearby. Vogel concludes that the perpetrator is likely someone Anna knows. Days later, Anna's parents appear on live TV, pleading for their daughter's return. They describe Anna as a 16-year-old red-haired girl and share details about her outfit on the day she disappeared. Her mother, overwhelmed with emotion, reveals how Anna always wanted a cat, but they never got her one. Tearfully, she promises to fulfill that wish if Anna comes back. Meanwhile, Vogel and his team continue investigating, but progress remains slow. The small-town police force struggles with limited resources and staff. To attract attention, Vogel asks his team to wear white uniforms and search a random location. The media mistakes them for forensic experts, causing the story to spread quickly. With the case gaining national attention, Vogel's office receives additional resources, and the once empty space fills with investigators. One morning, Anna's father visits Vogel and shares that his wife found Anna's diary while cleaning her room. Inside, Vogel discovers a photo of Anna with her best friend, Priscilla. The father confesses something troubling. He repeatedly called Priscilla's number from Anna's phone, but stayed silent each time. He doesn't understand why he did it. Vogel advises him to let it go and focus on his family. Later that evening, Vogel secretly meets with a journalist named Stella to discuss the case. He gives her Anna's diary. As Stella reads it, she notices that Anna was a remarkably talented writer. Anna likely knew her parents would read the diary, so she wrote only nice things. Stella urges Vogel to find the real diary to uncover the truth. Vogel asks Stella to help him make the case famous in exchange for exclusive information for her news channel. Stella anonymously places a stuffed kitten in front of Anna's house and reports it on the news. People begin gathering at the house with candles to pay their respects, while police officers closely watch the crowd, suspecting the criminal might show up. In the crowd, a suspicious teenage boy secretly takes a picture and picks up the stuffed kitten before leaving. An officer notices and tries to stop him, but Vogel intervenes, suggesting they avoid causing a scene with the media present. The next evening, Borgi calls Vogel and informs him that the teenage boy, Mattia, attends the same school as Anna. Mattia was previously caught photographing couples in public places and is now under psychiatric observation. Vogel tells Stella that something significant might happen and gives her a 25-minute head start before her competitors. Vogel then breaks into Mattia's house and finds a video of Anna on his laptop. Mattia returns home and panics at the sight of the detective. Vogel assures him he wants to help make him famous. Mattia silently shows Vogel another video of Anna. The guy's obsession with her becomes obvious as he has been following her for a while. Vogel notices a suspicious SUV repeatedly appearing in the video. The story then jumps back a few weeks, introducing Professor Loris Martini, an English teacher at Anna's school. One day after class, Anna's best friend, Priscilla, flirts with Loris and asks him to teach her acting lessons, knowing he was part of a theater club. Loris tries to decline, but Priscilla insists and gives him her number anyway. Later, Loris goes home to his wife, Clea, who used to be a successful lawyer. Since moving to this small town, Clea has struggled to find work in her field and now spends her days at home, feeling depressed. Loris shoulders the financial responsibility for their family. He tells Clea he plans to go on a solo mountain hike the next day. On December 23rd, Loris sets out early in the morning for his hike. Loris returns late in the evening, and Clea tells him that a girl named Anna is missing. She says Anna goes to Loris's school, but he claims not to know her because she isn't his student. He thinks Anna might have run away from home due to rebellion. Clea then notices a wound on his hand and asks what happened. Loris says he slipped on a hike and got impaled by a branch. The couple has a 16-year-old daughter, Monica, who spends a lot of time on social media and often argues with her parents about their move. They suggest she go out and make new friends, but Monica yells that her friends are back in their old town and storms off without eating. The next morning, Loris sees Priscilla hanging out with her friends at school. He has a change of heart and texts her, inviting her over for acting lessons. Meanwhile, flyers about Anna Lou's disappearance are posted around town. A few days later, Loris notices his SUV on the news at a gas station, and they label him as Anna's kidnapper. He rushes home, where his family is just as confused. Loris immediately calls the police, and Borgie answers. Loris explains that the SUV is his and insists he's not the kidnapper. Borgie tells him to find a lawyer and not call again. The next morning, Loris decides to go to the police station to clear up the confusion. As Loris leaves his house, a crowd of journalists surrounds him, demanding to know if he's the culprit. A car pulls up, and a man inside asks him to get in. The man introduces himself as Giorgio, a lawyer. Giorgio advises Loris not to go to the police, explaining that if the video were solid evidence, the authorities would have arrested him already. He claims this is a tactic to break him under media pressure. Giorgio offers to represent him, but Loris says he doesn't have much money and promises to discuss it with his wife first. In the evening, Borgie and other cops arrive at Loris's house to collect his DNA sample. Loris cooperates and lets them do their job. After collecting the samples, the cops seize his SUV. Vogel discovers that the SUV was recently cleaned and contains nothing but cat hairs. Vogel then visits Anna's mother, who has become distraught after everything that has happened. She asks if a schoolteacher like Loris could really hurt Anna, but Vogel avoids giving a direct answer and assures her he is doing everything possible to find Anna. Vogel receives a message from an unknown number claiming Loris is innocent. Meanwhile, Loris and Clea decide to hire Giorgio as their lawyer. Loris feels confused because the police still haven't questioned him. Giorgio explains that Vogel isn't interested in questioning him yet. He's likely stalling to build a case against him. Giorgio then tells the couple about Vogel's previous investigation, known as the mutilator case. Vogel mishandled the investigation and wrongfully convicted an innocent man. The man lost his family, suffered a stroke during his 4 years in prison, and faced immense trauma. When proven innocent, he was released and the state compensated him $1 million. However, he could never recover from the ordeal. In the next scene, Priscilla appears on TV for an interview, acting modest while crying. She claims that Loris texted her and invited her to his place. Watching this, Clea becomes furious and argues with her husband. Loris insists that Priscilla is lying, saying he only called her for acting lessons. Meanwhile, Vogel, who tapped their house, listens to their conversation. Clea declares she is leaving with Monica. That evening, Loris is alone when Giorgio calls and arranges a meeting with Stella. Loris goes to the address, where Stella reveals she knows everything about him. She tells him his wife cheated on him months ago, which led them to move. Stella warns that people and the police already see him as a monster and offers him a paid interview to tell his side of the story. She argues that he should make money before going to jail but Loris refuses and leaves. Vogel keeps receiving anonymous messages claiming that Loris is innocent. He confronts Stella, accusing her of sending the texts as part of a sick game, but she denies any involvement. The next day, Vogel meets with Loris and gives him one final chance to prove his innocence. He tells Loris that he has no alibi for the day in question and points out that his wound looks suspicious. Vogel also reveals that cat hair was found in Loris' SUV, even though his family doesn't own a cat. Vogel suspects the kidnapper used the cat as bait to lure Anna and abduct her. He warns Loris that finding the cat will seal his fate and land him in jail. Enraged, Loris storms out after angrily declaring that vanity is the devil's dumbest sin. Vogel notices blood from Loris' earlier wound left on the table. The next morning, the police find Anna's backpack in a nearby river. Meanwhile, Loris shaves his beard and heads to the school. While teaching, Vogel suddenly appears in his classroom, claiming he's there to observe. After Loris finishes his lecture, Vogel claps and praises his teaching before leaning in to whisper that his blood was found on Anna's backpack. The scene shifts to the present, where Vogel recounts the events to Dr. Flores. Dr. Flores realizes that Vogel planted Loris' blood on Anna's backpack to frame him. When asked if it's true, Vogel coldly replies that justice doesn't interest anyone. Back in the past, Loris is arrested for Anna's murder, and Vogel prepares to leave town. Then, he gets another anonymous message. When he calls the number, a journalist named Beatrice answers. She tells him she knows Loris is innocent and can prove it. She asks Vogel to search online for the Fogman. When Vogel looks it up, he finds that 30 years ago, 6 girls Anna's age vanished from Avashad. All the girls had red hair and freckles, just like Anna. Beatrice says she has spent her life trying to find the Fogman who killed those girls. The police had closed the case, claiming the girls ran away, and they labeled Beatrice as crazy. She explains Loris couldn't have done it because he was a child at the time and lived elsewhere. On the day Anna Lou Kastner disappeared, Beatrice received a package containing Anna's real diary, sent with Vogel's name on it. When Vogel asks what she wants, Beatrice says she only wants justice. Vogel starts reading Anna's diary and learns she met a boy named Oliver during summer vacation and fell in love with him. To symbolize their love, she drew the letter O on her wrist with a pen. Vogel also finds a photo addressed to him, showing a location in the forest. He visits the spot and digs until he uncovers a package with a video cassette inside. At home, Vogel plays the video and sees a mysterious man holding an old postcard from a nearby, long-closed hotel. Anna Lou is unconscious, lying beside him. Shocked, Vogel decides to visit the abandoned hotel where the video was filmed. He believes this case has also failed, so he destroys the VHS to prevent anyone from finding out. Suddenly, Stella arrives with a camera crew and accuses him of destroying evidence. After the incident, Vogel loses credibility and gets fired. Meanwhile, Loris is released from prison and hailed as a hero. His family returns to him, and they reconcile. Giorgio suggests that Loris sue the police for falsely accusing him and claim a large compensation. A publishing house also wants to write a book about his story, and several news channels offer him paid interviews. To redeem himself in the eyes of the public, Vogel agrees to do an interview with Loris and apologize on live television. However, when he arrives, he notices a small letter O drawn on Loris's wrist. It matches the one Anna mentioned in her secret diary, a symbol in memory of Oliver. Through flashbacks, we learn that Loris felt frustrated by his inability to support his family. When he heard about the mutilated case, he saw it as a way to make a large sum of money. He also learned about the Fogman, who was responsible for the disappearance of 6 girls. Loris then created a plan to frame himself for murder while leaving evidence of his innocence. Afterward, he targeted Anna because her red hair and freckles resembled the earlier victims of the Fogman. He followed her for a few days, learning her routine and preferences. On December 23rd, as she was leaving for church, she saw the teacher trying to catch the cat. Anna agreed to help him. He took advantage of her kindness and abducted her. Loris brought her to the abandoned hotel, recorded a video, and eventually killed her. Now, Vogel confesses to Dr. Flores that he didn't think the cops would help, so he took matters into his own hands. Dr. Flores suspects that after the live broadcast, Vogel tracked down and eliminated Loris. Vogel immediately calls the police to inform them of the situation. Moments later, they enter the room and arrest him for the crime. Seeing a fish sculpture on the wall, Vogel remarks that Flores might be the type of man who only catches one kind of fish. In the final scene, Dr. Flores returns home and heads straight to his basement. He arranges some boxes and carefully selects one to place on a bench. Inside the box, there are 6 strands of red hair. It is then that we realize the infamous Fog Man, who murdered 6 girls 30 years ago, is Dr. Flores. And that's how the movie ends. What did you think of this movie? Let us know in the comments below. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and press the bell icon for more amazing videos. See you next time.